racist conversation involving New Jersey's very own first Sikh Attorney General, Guldeep Grewal. In response, the Sikh Coalition immediately engaged the New Jersey Sangha and New Jersey media outlets to call out the bigotry and demand apologies and insist that the radio station conduct Sikh awareness trainings for their employees. The hosts have publicly apologized as a result of this outreach that we did, and were dealt suspensions, and our team followed up with training for their staffs in the weeks that followed. In September 2018, we had also another incident where the sheriff in Bergen County by the name of Michael Saudino was caught on tape making homophobic, racist, and bigoted remarks about the communities in New Jersey, elected officials, including, again, Attorney General Grewal, and in response, we again immediately engaged with the local Sangha, the Attorney General's office, other civil rights organizations, and media outlets to demand an apology and accept nothing short of a resignation for such unfortunate remarks, and that tone at the top was really problematic. Within 24 hours, he resigned, and we continue to work with local officials to ensure that anti-bias trainings are conducted throughout the Sheriff's Department in 2019. So we're really looking forward to doing that. But joining me now is Bergen County, New Jersey community member Guldeep Singh. Guldeep Virji is a business owner who has actively engaged our organization over the years. And Guldeep's family has utilized the Sikh Coalition's legal team before and has led out on Day of Seva projects in New Jersey. And he's a longtime New Jersey resident. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah.
Make some comments?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to make some comments, you definitely can.
We definitely felt the effect of the Sikh Coalition in New Jersey. I think you mentioned the whole thing with the radio hosts. And I was really impressed with the way the Sikh Coalition reacted to that. Our problem with our community is changing a little bit. For years we have talked about education. We've felt that if they know us, they won't hate us, so to speak, or we won't be discriminated against if they know us. So the effort had always been on education. So this was kind of a different animal, in that both these radio hosts knew who Sikhs were. And they just chose to be uncivil, they chose to be offensive, obnoxious, and it was a disagreement on public policy with our Attorney General. And it was just, our reaction could not have been, hey, let's educate them, let's invite them to our Gurdwara, show them our values, and then they're going to start liking us. This was a need to be called out. And it's kind of the evolution of our community, where this is kind of the next step. Some people do know who you are, but in spite of that, are offensive or are hateful. I actually met. I was interviewed a day later, or a couple of days later, by the Bergen Record, and they asked me about this specific incident. And my reaction was the same. I said, listen, this is not a lack of education. This is just two radio hosts who decided they're going to be offensive and not civil. And by chance, I spoke to Guldeep Grewal, our Attorney General, the same day. And he said, these were surprisingly his words. He said, listen, I've responded, and I'm moving on, and let the Sikh Coalition do what they do. There's a need for sensitivity training, where these organizations have to understand that the Sikh community, you don't get free shots. And I guess when they were making them, they probably thought there was going to be no consequence. So the Sikh Coalition is kind of going to the next step now. With it's not always just about education, but it's also about being called out for making offensive comments, and sensitivity training to tell this organization that it's not okay to talk like that over the public airways. And that's really what they did. I was just surprised that these were his words. The Attorney General said, let the Sikh Coalition do what they do. And so I think the steps that the Sikh Coalition took were proper. As to, you have to recognize what the source of those comments was.
Yeah, and it takes time to look at these types of incidents, and for us as professional staff here at the Sikh Coalition to determine how do we appropriately respond to every incident, because you are correct, every incident is not the same. Sometimes you have people who are very well aware of identity and simply don't care, and it is critically important that we hold these, whether it's media figures or it is elected officials, we have to hold them accountable.
That's exactly
And
right.
we are very grateful with the response that we've gotten from Attorney General Graywell's office and from our community members who support us and donate to us and make all of this possible. And in light of this, I think I wanted to ask you an additional question here. New Jersey's actually played a really important part in the rise of Sikh civic engagement, and it's kind of been modeled nationwide now. You guys are kind of seen as like the beacon. We have the appointment of Attorney General Grewal and successful election of Mayor Ravi Bala in Hoboken. But there are two of the many Sikh community members across the country now in public office. So regardless of political affiliation, Sikh civic engagement embodies progress in building our community's power. Guldeep, how do we build off this momentum in 2019 and beyond?
Well, we have to recognize first, let's see what made these two successful, okay? Ravi Bhala and Singh Grewal, okay, what made them successful? I say this many times, that the three most important things, if you want to keep your Sikhi in America, is Sangat, Sangat, and Sangat, okay? Sangat is your family unit. Families that have a tight family unit, and now I know the Bhalas, I know the Grewals, they imparted their Sikhi values to their kids. So I mean, we champion these two because they've kept their Sikhi, they're turban Sikhs with a full beard, and they achieved these kind of political milestones. Second type of Sangat, I would say, is your group of friends. They're friends with each other, first of all, and they had a very nice, great group of Sikh friends as they were growing up. The third thing is your Gurudi Sangat. So it's your Gurdwara Sangat, it's the community that, the tight community that kind of, builds you as a proud Sikh. So the Sikh Coalition is involved in community building as well. Now, the thing is, we have to recognize, first of all, I think their success, we can't, negate that their own personal drive and perseverance. Again, the way they grew up was a very strong community. And now, the fact that they've become so successful, they've become role models, I think this will propel the next generation to look up to them. And I think the greatest message is that that they've kept their pagadis, they've kept their Sikhi Swaroop and their full beards, and they're very successful. That is the message to the next kids, to the next generation. Now the Sikh Coalition, you've got your junior Sikh Coalition that you're really, you're growing the next generation leaders. The great role models, Ravi and Guldeep, and I think the Sikh Coalition is recognizing that the need for tomorrow, and I think the very fact that they're so successful as practicing Sikhs, I think will propel the youth to persevere in the political arena.
I think those are absolutely great points, and definitely you are completely correct that they are shining role models and beacons for our community. And as an organization, the Sikh Coalition has been using our initiatives to support this momentum of civic engagement. And we launched a national voter registration drive in 2018 because this was a critical election that we knew was going to be a very important repercussions to not only the South Asian community, but also the Sikh American community. And as a result, we saw 25 Sangats mobilizing to help register Sikh voters. I believe your Gurdwara participated in that as well.
Yes, we did.
And as we deepen our organizational investment to empower the Sikh community members, and engage influential lawmakers. I'm curious to hear more about how New Jersey is doing this work. This year, for the first time ever, New Jersey Sikhs were able to pass a proclamation making April Sikh Awareness and Appreciation Month. Guldeep, can you talk about the positive impact that came from this initiative?
I think, you know, they say all politics is local. So it's just very, very true. You really have to start at the local level if you want to start getting recognized by your community. I mean, day to day you're associating with the local town you're in and local city you're in. You know, till now, realistically, our you know, contact with our local towns was the building department, you know,
Yeah.
municipal officials, and perhaps the mayor of the town, you know, or interfaith contact. This kind of allowed us, this put us right in front of the town council. Now the town council will consist of, you know, 12 prominent members of your town, who chances are never came to your gurdwara.
Yeah.
Chances are has seen maybe 6 here and there and really doesn't know much about you. But this, you know, these proclamations, this effort, put us in front of the town councils. So, you know, it was a very good way to tell them who we are, give them comfort, you know, as to who we are. And I think it was, you know, again, this is part of the evolution of our community, where now we do have to start registering voters. We have to have a vote bank, so to speak. And it's just part of our civic duty and our, you know, the responsibilities we have as Sikhs in America, as Sikh Americans.
And you're absolutely correct. I think these elected officials want to learn more about who the Sikhs are, because they definitely are voters.
We received very positive response from the couple that I went to. I think 99% of all the towns that got these proclamations done. It was kind of easy to do them if you just had to ask.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of odd. You know, we said, oh, there's, you know, what's going to happen? You ask and they'll invite you in.
It really is that
You know,
simple.
it was just something that we've never done before. We never thought of. And the Sikh Coalition kind of, you know, encouraged us to do that. And I think it's a very good start, again, on our local level. And I think we should continue that as years pass.
Yeah, yeah, I just got word that we are at about $60,000 in donations. Please continue to donate. We still are a long ways to go from reaching our goal. But I want to continue this conversation with you because I think it's really interesting to hear your perspective. You know, elected officials want to hear and learn about our community, and I think this goes back to your earlier message about Sangat, 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 right? It's not just your neighbors, it's also about who is in your neighborhood and who's managing
Absolutely.
your community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is your Sangat.
Right.
And it's really easy. We've made a toolkit for individuals who want to do a Sikh awareness proclamation. You're interested in putting one together. Come April, that's usually the most popular month. Also, in November, there's California Sikh Awareness Month, but the Sikh Coalition would love to support you and help make that a reality in your state, your city, your county, wherever you are. We are here for you.
If I could just add to that, it is not difficult. Okay,
Yeah.
Don't think going to a town, you know, what are we going to do? You just have to ask. I mean, they're going to, you'll get a positive response, and
Yeah.
you know, put you right in front of your town people.
It's a simple 3-page document, and it doesn't take you more than 10-15 minutes to really do, to send off these emails. And speaking about this, as Sikhs continue to build this community power that we're talking about, it's sadly predictable that we'll continue to see bigotry and backlash in response, kind of like what we've seen with these radio hosts and elsewhere with Michael Saudino. A big part of our work is always to hold these individuals and institutions accountable for their bigoted actions. And we try to turn that into an opportunity for further educating Americans about the Sikh community. We did that twice in New Jersey this year, and I'm curious to hear what you thought of those results. I mean, obviously we had head officials having, or very public figures say some problematic things, but we took it upon ourselves to make sure to also educate all of the hundreds of staff that are under those individuals.
Right.
And I think there's value in that. What do you think?
Absolutely. Look, this is kind of a two-prong approach. Education is definitely important. Look, we're, you know, till now, community leaders, Sikh community leaders, we're really weekend leaders. That's the absolute truth. There's nobody doing this full-time, okay? The Sikh Coalition is a full-time organization that is prepared, okay? You've done your homework. There is a game plan in place as to whatever fire has to be put out, okay? The homework has been done. You know, till now when something happened, our first reaction was, oh, let's invite them to the Gurdwara, show them who we are, you know, kind of flaunt them with, you know, attention. And in this case, I mean, Sheriff Saudino, I've met him, nicest person in the world, to your face. But obviously, there were some problems inside, right? So now, it's not that he didn't know who Sikhs were. I was at a fundraiser where there was all Sikhs. We had 200 Sikhs there. He was the nicest guy. He was giving out his card. He was, you know, but there are problems inside. And you know, education is very important. But there has to be a two-pronged approach. There has to be a full-time organization that if something happens on a Monday, we don't wait till Saturday or Sunday for our Sikh leaders to, you know, get off work and now react, you know. Or you have the one odd retired, you know, Sikh community member who goes on TV and is really not prepared. You know, when we get together, I mean, my generation and the generation maybe 10 years older than me, you know, ਅਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ, you know, ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੜਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, and look at the Jewish community. We always give the example of the Jewish community, that they've got it together, they support their civil rights organizations, and that's true, okay? They give a good chunk of their income to support these organizations, okay? These are full-time organizations. They don't wait for the synagogue leaders, you know, on the weekend to react to something. They have full-time institutions, they have full-time organizations, well-funded, supported by the community. And, you know, the Sikh Coalition is now, this is the next generation of Sikhs who are running this. You know, we'll take the heat, whatever it was, you know, my generation and the one older than me, fine. But now you have an institution, you have an organization that is running things professionally. What the needs of today are, they're media savvy, and they're doing things on a full-time basis. They have full-time staff. Small footnote before I forget to say, whenever there's a legal need, they don't charge. I think most of our community doesn't even know that. You know, they think if they have to call the Sikh Coalition, it's going to cost something. They do not charge anything for legal representation. All the cases you hear that the Sikh Coalition is getting involved, the community is not charged. The community member is not charged. They don't even talk about it. So it's very important for us to support this institution. Jaise kehne asi, you know, Gurdwara nu asi kyon deiye, sari community members ladde rehnde ne. So you have an institution now that's being run by the next generation that is doing things properly on a full-time basis with a full-time staff. Sorry, I'm keeping extrapolating. My own experience, okay, 2013, October 31st, I still remember the date. My son was caught with a kirpan in his school, okay? I knew something of the Sikh Coalition, I didn't know that much. Okay, this is a fire now, okay? I can't, you know, you can't wait for there to be a fire to set up now a fire department, right? There has to be something in place, there has to be an institution in place that is going to fight for you, is going to put out this fire, okay? We did call the Sikh Coalition. Now, kirpan issues, if I hire another attorney that doesn't know anything about the Sikh faith, he now has to study, he has to spend 5 days studying on what a kirpan is. But they had case study, they had a legal team ready to fight this. He's being expelled, he's being threatened with expulsion the next morning. So between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m., they have kind of crashed the entire the school system and this theology that there was going to be an expulsion. They put the school system on defensive, and it was, you know, by the next Monday, everything had been cleared and my son was back in school. So these are, you know, you never know when the need is going to be there. You can't wait till something happens to say, okay, now I'm going to support the Sikh Coalition. Okay? This is community-based. If there is a bullied child in Georgia, that should matter to us. Okay? If there is a hate crime in California, that should matter to us. if there is job discrimination in Tennessee or wherever, that should matter to us. You can't wait for something to happen to say, okay, now we need an institution. Okay, we have an institution that is prepared to handle all this. You need to support this now. There's, I think, a donate button at the bottom of your screen here. Press on it. It's, you know, Joey had $500 dena, $1000 dena. Everything is going to be double today. So I encourage everyone, do it now. Don't say I'm going to think about it. Sham nu karanga. Do it now. There's a button right there. Press on it.
Yeah, and it's if you don't see the button, it's also sikhdonate.org. It's SIKH donate.org. We're also going to be available via phone if you want to call us. If you don't feel comfortable using the computer, or you know, you don't trust, maybe you're in a public Wi-Fi and you don't want to donate online, you can call us at 646-681-7583. Again, the number is 646-681-7583. And absolutely, please take advantage of this wonderful opportunity on Giving Tuesday for you to double your donation. Yeah, I think what you were talking about, having professional staff, is really important, because in today's news cycles, things move within 24 hours and they're gone. And if there isn't a professional organization around to respond to an incident, and let's say someone is able to deal with it on a weekend, it's already forgotten. People have moved on, and you can't get the kind of media attention that it deserves. And as a result, I feel like, you know, communities can feel forgotten if there isn't a professional organization taking care of these matters. And I think, you know, you sharing your son's experience is instrumental, because you have the capability of having a personal attorney to work on this, but you ultimately came to the conclusion that we have experts in this field, and they are professional enough, and there was really no difference in terms of the quality of work and the professionalism that was offered from your private attorney to the ones here at the Sikh Coalition.
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time, but that is the choice I made, and it was fantastic. I mean, at the time it was Sapreet and Gurjot, those were the two attorneys, and just want to take a couple of other names. Amar Bhala was involved in that, where he was with the Sikh Coalition at the time. Ravi also helped me greatly, and Gurveer Grewal also helped. We were, you know, it was a multi-pronged approach, but again, you know, the actual, at the end of the day, you have to have a legal kind of you know, something you're going to present to them, saying that this is why you should not be expelled. Okay, it's not all about political pressure. So again, you know, my first reaction was, let me call my own attorney. So my own attorney he's not Indian. He's definitely not Sikh. He would not know the first thing to do. So, you know, we called the Sikh Coalition, and they got on it right away. I can't stress this enough. You know, we have the amount we spend to protect ourselves. We have to think, if there's something of value, you know, we want to protect it. Okay, we protect our homes. We think our property is something of value. We protect our homes. We have fire alarms in place. We have security systems in place. And we have a homeowner's policy. We have property insurance. If there's something of value, you do spend money to protect it, okay? Those of us who are business owners, those who, you know, gas station owners, we spend thousands and thousands of dollars protecting our businesses. Fire is the first thing you buy, okay? There are 70 towns in Bergen County. Do you know how many fire departments there are?
I have no idea.
70.
That's great.
Every single town, you build a community, and the first thing, you know, one of the most important things of every town is to set up a fire department. Okay, you have equipment, you have a building, you have fire trucks, you have training, and you have a full-time staff, right?
Yeah.
24 hours a day, full-time staff, because you figure your community is something worth protecting. Right?
Yeah.
You don't say, I'm building my community, I'll wait for the first fire, and then I'll build a fire department, okay? This is a given. If you have something of value, you build institutions, you build organizations that are going to help you and to protect you and to save you, okay? We have health insurance. if our health is something of value, we say, hey, I'm going to spend that, whatever it is, whether it comes from your business or it comes from your job, okay? You get health insurance. If your job is not giving it to you, you buy it yourself. We spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year protecting things that we own, things that we think is of value. Je sanu khayal hai ki Sikhi is something of value that should continue for the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. If we want to see in the next century our kids and our grandkids living in a thriving, vibrant Sikh community, you have to invest in protection organizations that are going to save your Sikhi if the need arises. And we're all in this together, okay? The kid who is not allowed to play soccer in Ohio is just as important as your own child, okay? We have to, you can't wait for the fire to happen in your home to say, hey, I should now support these organizations. Okay? These organizations have to exist, they have to be well funded, and they have to be ready and prepared and have a game plan for when you may need them or any member of the community will need them. Okay? This is a properly run organization. There are proper audits. It's a corporate structure, and again, we're always giving the same example of the Jewish community. The Jewish community has very well-funded civil rights organizations, and this is kind of, I think, one of our first well-funded or funded. There's a lot more work to do and a lot more help that we need to give to the Sikh Coalition. But this has to exist for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, for our kids, our grandkids. And this is Sikh insurance. This is we need to support the Sikh Coalition, because it's like the what if scenario. Just in case we have, you insure your home just in case. We're not expecting to be robbed. We're not expecting there to be a fire, but we still have insurance. We still have health insurance. It's like the just-in-case insurance, but we should have it, and we need to think on those terms.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to need it. Clearly, I think that is a prime example. And even though you'd mentioned some rural areas and some places that are not New Jersey, New York, or major metropolitan areas, the fact is that these bias incidences or bullying incidents or school officials not understanding where the coupon are still happening, whether it's in a major city, in a major state, or rural America, where people might not be so exposed to that. And I think it's very great of you to make that analogy about fire stations and business insurance. That is key, and people tend to overlook that often until they need it. And you're right, it's too late at that point, or it makes your life very difficult to use those resources on a last-minute basis. So today we've raised over $60,000 on Giving Tuesday. On Facebook we've raised over $1,200. I know you guys out there can do better. Please support us, and we want to thank everyone who's donated so far, including Jojhar Singh, and great job, Guldeep Sethi, and thank you for joining us, Jojhar. And we definitely look forward to continuing to work on the Sikh Coalition. It's community members like you that really make this kind of work rewarding, and it's community members like you that continue to make this work possible. And even you viewers out there, it's community members like you that really do give us the power to be this professional organization, be the insurance policy for Sikh civil rights. Again, I'm Simjay Singh. I'm the Senior Policy and Advocacy Director here at the Sikh Coalition. And joining us from New Jersey was Guldeep Singh. Guldeep is a longtime supporter of the Sikh Coalition's work. And remember, we can only do this critical education work because of your support. And only today, whatever you give will be matched. You can click the donate button in the video, or going to sikhdonate.org. Again, that's S-I-K-H, donate.org. Also, make sure you click join the Sikh Coalition's listserv after making your donation, so we can personally follow up and send a thank you. I think that's really good for us to do. And thank you for those of us who've already donated. If you think that the Sikh Coalition is providing a valuable service to Sanghits, not just in New Jersey, but in your community or all around the country, please consider making a donation so that we can continue providing this community empowerment initiatives that we've been talking about today at this great session. And make sure to share this video with your friends and family so that they are also aware of the work that we're doing and that they can hear some of the direct testimonials of the work that we have done and continue to do going forward. Also, if you want to make your donation by phone, we're available all day at 646-681-7583. Again, that's 646-681-7583. So no matter how you choose to donate today, you'll get a tax-deductible receipt, and it's a sincere thank you from all of us who work tirelessly on your behalf to defend Sikh civil rights. Click the donate button or call us. Thank you.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Sim.